going on, guys? Welcome to episode 94 of New Money Talks. How you doing?
There we go. That was perfect. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, man.
Super excited here. Will and I have been friends now for 3-4 years. We met on the street in New York City. I actually remember that. It was after
We met on the street in New York City, and then I got in your guys' car.
You're right. You got into our car. You're like, "Yo, can I get a ride?" And I was like, "Oh, this guy's sick. Sure, let's go."
Yeah, it was during Grow New York, I think, like during Grow, and maybe I think what happened was we were at some event, and then we started talking, and then I got in your guys' car.
We were at a Stay AI event in Lunar. I think it's called like
at the Lunar Solar office. No, that was funny. I think about that because it's just hilarious. I just got in your guys' car. It was strange. That was funny. But yeah, man.
True. Literally, you're walking on the street. I'm like, "Oh, this guy's cool." We're just chit chatting. And I was like, "Yo, where are you heading?" He was like, "That way." And I was like, "I guess you want to ride?" You're like, "Sure." And we literally had met like 3 minutes before that. That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny, man. No, it's been a while.
Yeah, now we're doing a pod. That's usually how this works. No, but I think you have a sick story. You've been in eCom for how many years now?
Coming up on 9 years.
Dude, that's like I did a pod right before you with Jason Wong.
Yep.
Jason Wong.
I know. Yeah, I work with him with Doe Lashes. We work with them.
There you go. So like he's been working ecom for 11 years. Before that I had a pod with Eric Banholtz, like the founder of Beard Brand.
Yep.
Beard Brand.
Yep.
Like 13 years. I've been doing this since like 2016. That's like 9-10 years now at this point. It's kind of crazy, like, those numbers. But anyways, for people who don't know you, give us a little spiel of who you are, what you do, what you've done, and how you ended up here.
Yeah, totally, John. So, it's funny to think 2016 is when you started, because that's when we started. We started our first business like December 1st of 2016.
Wow.
And it was a pet brand. So it was called Pack Leashes and dog leashes, harnesses, collars. We started with 6 SKUs. So it was rope leashes was what we really started with. Proved out the idea. The first actually like year and a half to 2 years we manufactured in my college apartment. So we were melting down this plastic rope, binding it together, creating these leashes, scaled that business up over, I guess, about a 8-year span. We sold that business in October. So the most recent October 24, sold the business. And yeah, man, it was a crazy scaling journey. I mean, we started with $3,500, scaled it up to about $3.5 million a year. And in the process, started building software actually. So I didn't build the software, but brought on, who's our now CTO at SavedBy, our new company, but brought Colby on and started building software for like marketing automations and Instagram. Once we did that, realized we really wanted to enter software. As you know, John, inventory is a whole thing, physically a whole thing to deal with. And so really wanted to just move into the software space. And, there's definitely a lot of detail left out in that overview, but yeah, scaled that business. I went to work for PwC for a little bit. So I worked as an auditor for PwC for a whopping like 6 months, and then left that job, went right back to the business. And now we do something called SavedBy shipping protection. So similar to a lot of shipping protection companies, but a lot of key differences, a lot of secret in the sauce. So merchant first approach with that company and completely bootstrap both companies. So big really concept and ideal of mine in running business is running them profitably, not growth at all costs. And because usually growth at all costs is not profitable. So yeah, that's a little background on me. Feel free to dive in any further. I definitely missed a lot of details, but really.
Sure. And I think the one interesting part that I liked about your story, especially with your brand, is that you didn't scale it classically with like Facebook, Instagram ads. Like some of this automation software you did, it was like you were doing a lot of DMs, right?
Some of the automation software, what?
Like you were doing a lot of DMing on like Instagram and all.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. So it was all.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it was all Instagram DMs.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so we created top of funnel on meta ads. So like on Instagram, there'd be a top of funnel ad that related to like, we're looking for ambassadors for our brand. We're looking for dog models, ambassadors, things like that. And the psychology behind it is that people on Instagram who have dog page Instagrams like are really into their dog being on Instagram, right? And so it's kind of funny because when people would ask me what was different about the product, it wasn't that specialized of a product. It was really marketing that specialized the company, and just really understood that the psychology of the buyer that we were targeting. So top of funnel would be created with that style ad, and then from there, the call to action in that ad was to send us a message. So they'd send us a message, and then once they sent us a message, we'd actually have humans reply. And I basically at one point built a whole like logic tree of like, if, you're on step 2 of the tree and they say A, B, or C, then you're going to send prompt to B. Sure. And it really built out like a whole logic tree based on like a very formalized and formulaic conversation was built. And so from there, we actually had like literally, we had humans scrolling Instagram, getting to the bottom of their inbox, finding things that were 2 days old and sending these follow-ups. A lot of times they've scrolled through thousands of messages just to get there. And so at a certain point we said, hey, we need to, like, this is becoming too time consuming for people to do. We need to essentially, what we need to do is really, sorry, someone's about to walk into this conference.
No, you're good.
What we need to do is
build something,
automate this. We need to automate out the responses. And once we automate out those responses and have that more just applied, that formula, we're going to be able to scale a lot more. So we built that software. And this was before like ManyChat or we actually did it all before there was an Instagram API. Okay. So we were actually doing like scraping. We were scraping inboxes and then recording that data into a database, understanding the flow of the conversation. So a lot of crazy stuff that we were doing in just ways that we had to hack it together because there weren't APIs open yet. Like Instagram didn't have a messaging API essentially. So yeah, that was the journey. And it was really, that really helped us scale the business. And it's crazy, dude. Like when we first started doing ad buying, because we had other top of funnel strategies, but when we first started ad buying, we were ad buying for, we were hitting a 16 times return on ad spend, which is like unheard of now. So just gave us a lot of ability to scale really, really serious. And then, just found a passion for software within that. Yeah.
And like you ran this brand, you said, for 8 years?
Yeah. So we started December 2016 and we sold the brand in October of 24. It's crazy. It's like, I guess we almost sold it about a year ago at this point.
And what was the size of the brand too?
We sold it was like 3.5 million a year of top line, all Shopify.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And this was just strictly dog leashes.
Yeah, harnesses, collars. It expanded out beyond leashes, but like harnesses, collars, stuff like that. We tried treats at one point. Like we wanted to get more recurring. I don't think we gave it the best launch that we could have. I don't think we got like heavy subscriptions, but we tried that for a little bit. But then at a certain point, it was just like clear to us that SavedBy, the shipping protection, was just really where we needed to put our heads at. So we just had to sell the brand mostly just to make sure our minds were not
on it.
On it at all.
Well, I'm curious. So like SavedBy launched now, 4 years ago?
What is up, New Money Talks fam? Super excited to tell you about our awesome sponsor today. It's actually my business, ShipDudes. Check us out, shipdudes.com. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I've been running a 3PL for over 5 years now. We have locations all over the country and have helped amazing brands go from just an idea to shipping hundreds of thousands of orders. We've even helped brands launch into retail like Vitamin Shop, Target, Costco, and Sephora. If you're an awesome e-commerce founder, but you're not happy with your 3PL partner or your operations in general, reach out to us. Check us out, shipdudes.com. If you're a founder who's shipping orders out of their garage or their mom's basement, trust me, I've been there before. Hit us up. We can definitely help, shipdudes.com. And lastly, if you do book a time with us, make sure you put in the notes that you came from New Money Talks. We will definitely take care of you. I've even given free fulfillment months for people coming from the pod. So anyways, appreciate you all. Check us out. Sponsor for this video is ShipDudes. And back to the pod?
About 2 years ago, honestly.
2 years ago. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But because I'm curious, like, how this even came to be. Like, did you need this for your brand? Were you using a version of this for your brand? Like, kind of how the idea come to? Because I think, personally, I think it's a great idea. I know some of the merchants that we work with you guys as well too.
Yep.
And across the board, I think it's like everyone wins. Customer wins, brand wins, 3PL wins, you guys win. Like, I don't see anyone that loses in this situation.
Yep.
I'm curious, did you need it for yourself? How'd you come up with the idea? Where'd you start with stuff like that too?
SavedBy. We had a need. Yeah, we had a need ourselves. So we definitely knew we needed it. And then we kind of just saw what was developing in the market. And realized that within these market developments, what the products that were getting put out there were not very merchant centric. Like the concept was there, but the actual execution was not in our minds. And so
I'm curious what you mean by that though.
Yeah. So what we do at SavedBy, it's not a pure software business. It's really a tech enabled services business.
Sure.
In the sense of, you look at Judge Me, you look at one of these review apps, like that's a pure software business generally. Like you just install an app, it just injects itself onto your site and it works. And there's a lot of people using that app who've never talked to anybody, right?
Sure.
So for SavedBy, it's once you install SavedBy, with at least the default classic style that 99% of merchants are using, once claims pick up, we actually have customer service on our end. And so because the claims are not just like auto approved, auto denied, not talking to anybody. Claims they're getting a pair of human eyes at the end of the day. So there's a lot of automations that are going on, but we're always going to have a human who's checking the box saying, yes or no, signing off on it. Reason being is that there's a lot of context and understanding required for these situations that I think if you were to just automate things entirely, you're going to lose a lot of that context and understanding. And then when things start getting not taken care of from a claims perspective, then you're going to lose merchants because merchants are going to say, hey, I have signed up for your service and now I have customers who are pissed about denied claims. And so for us, it's so important to make sure that the level of service is really held up in terms of that claims just servicing. So
at the highest level too, like explain what SavedBy does, because like obviously we're talking about just what does it do high level.
Totally. Yeah. So right now 95% of merchants, if something gets lost, stolen, damaged in the way of shipping, like if you ship something out, John, and it gets stolen on the way there, customer's going to come into your merchant's inbox and say, hey, that my package was stolen. So the merchant generally is going to ship that next package out for free. They're going to say, hey, so sorry about that. Here you go. Here's another order. What SavedBy does is we give customers the ability to purchase shipping protection on the front end. So customers can pay like 3.5%, 4% for shipping protection. So, $100 order, they're going to pay like $3. It's a little bit under that 3.5%. Now, as a customer, what it means is that if I have a package issue, I have a place to go file my claim. So I don't have to get in touch with the merchant and have back and forth emails with the merchant. I can just file a claim directly. Once I do, I'm going to have my package taken care of. Whereas before, as a customer, I might not have known what the merchant was going to do. I might not have known if the merchant was going to take care of me because there's a lot. Like I ordered Roombas a year ago and one came and didn't work and they were like, hey, it was damaged. And I was like, they were just like, reach out to UPS. So I didn't know as a customer. All to say what it means for merchants, John, is merchants no longer have to ship things out for free. So they go from that cost center to actually having another revenue center when it comes to packages that are lost, stolen, damaged, any issues in shipping. And there is no cost as a merchant to use SavedBy because the customer buys it. So 10,000 view is merchants are making more money. They're saving time. They're not spending any money on my app. They're not signing long-term contracts. It's a really, really low lift. They get started a merchant can get started in 10 minutes. And we'll have it up and live that day. We do white glove onboard everything. So hopefully that gives, I guess, a good overview of what we do.
For sure. It's like hypothetically, say I'm brand XYZ and I sell skincare products, right? if Will comes and purchases something on my store and for some reason UPS throws in the garbage and it says delivered, but it's not actually there, Will bought it from skincare store, won't even go to skincare store, they'll go to SavedBy online and say, hey, I didn't get my package, help me out, right? And you guys will ship them a new one in a sense.
Yep. And we pay for a whole new one. We pay at full retail value for that new order.
Yeah, for that whole new order. Got it. How did you think of this? That's what I'm curious of.
Yeah, I mean, we thought about it because of what we saw was occurring in the space, because
So like with your leash brand, what was happening?
Yeah, so with our leash brand, we basically started to understand the problem. We knew that it was a cost to us. We saw other companies that were starting to do this. So there were other companies in the space starting to do this, and we thought, wow, the idea is good, but from our understanding, what we've heard from other merchants who are using these other apps, they're not executing well. Like before we went and got one of the apps, it was like, okay, well, if they're not executing well, why don't we just build this ourselves?
Sure.
We know we want to do software. We have a really, really unique perspective as compared to a lot of software providers in any given space who were never actually their end user. So like us, it was kind of a snowball of, okay, we have the merchant insights. We know what we're doing as merchants. We know what merchants want. This seems to make sense from a, like you said, everybody's winning perspective.
Sure.
But it needs to be executed well, because it's not just a piece of software that's a set it and forget it. There's constant customer service that occurs. So
you can talk about what's the customer service that occurs. I'm curious. So you're like, a human being has to look through. What are they looking through exactly?
Sometimes someone will submit a claim, John, and they won't put an apartment number.
Okay.
We have to reach out and say, hey, John, we're trying to get your next package sent, but you didn't put an apartment number. We need an apartment number.
Sure.
So it's little things like that. But I mean, we're processing tens of thousands of claims a month. So there's a lot of energy that goes into processing those claims. Or people will file a claim for wrong order numbers. There's still just human error that goes into it. So there's things that happen, or, merchant might be out of stock of something. Customer wants a reorder of that item. We have to let them know, hey, it's actually out of stock. Would you like a refund or a store credit?
So you pretty much become like a customer service team for the brand on top of doing their claims as well, too.
Exactly. Yeah, we really are an extension of CS teams.
Interesting.
I have a full-time CS team that's working 364 days a year. They get we take Christmas off.
Sure.
Even then, usually someone on my team wants to work on Christmas. So, we have a full-time CS team working that many days a year and working about 16 hours of each given day from across the East Coast to the West Coast.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit different than a regular SaaS business, because as we scale, we do have to scale up our CS team.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was I gonna say? So people have to opt into this though, right? That's the biggest thing.
Yep. Yeah, there are now, just with the way Shopify has moved on shipping protection, everyone's opting in and out on the cart level. So if you go to like Skull Candy, Ilia Beauty, couple of clients that we're working with, you're going to see a couple different stylings on the cart, and then they can opt out on checkout as well.
Is it worth for the brand to just pay for this for every single order, or is that not even worth it? I'm curious.
I don't know. I think if I put myself in a brand seat, I don't necessarily think it's worth it to pay for it on every order.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, like SavedBy, we have to make money, right? Like
Yeah.
Any shipping protection company has to make money. So it's like, cool, you paid me 10 grand and there was only 8 grand of claims. It's like, you would have been better off just paying the 8 grand of claims, I guess. But the way you flip it is, well, cool, we paid 0, customers paid the extra 8K, and now I saved that 8K,
I'm curious because like you have this whole customer service piece behind the business. Can't you just become the full customer service team for the brand? Like if they just fully paid for every single order to have SavedBy attached to it, essentially they don't even have to have a customer service team. They could just use SavedBy's customer service team for everything.
Yeah, there's like, it depends on the brand too, because like there's a lot of CS tickets that come in that aren't shipping related, so there would be there'd have to be a lot that we needed to learn. But I mean, we know CS in and out. Like everyone who's on my CS team has come. They come from eCom. They're all US based, so like it's really a strong team in terms of like understanding versus some of these outsourced CS companies where there's a lot of context switching, because they're switching from this brand to that brand. Because we're so siloed on shipping issues, my team's very well trained and can get things done without having to consult on how to make decisions.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd be curious too. So like, what was when you launched the brand, was this, so that launched the business, like this, the SaaS business, was it like, hey, I want to build $1 billion company? What was the goal behind it as well too? And like, how deep are you in that journey of that goal too as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't think we set out to build $1 billion brand, like $1 billion company. I do think that setting out to build $1 billion company means you need to have like a time horizon of 20 years for funding. And just like I said in the beginning, like we're not really big on doing fundraising. Like a lot of people I know who are on the fundraising treadmill, it becomes their full-time job and they actually don't get to run their business. And so first and foremost, the goal was just to, like, we didn't see the dog leash business as being something that would become a large play. Like we felt like it was, at least with the way we were doing things, kind of capped out at that 3.5 to 4 mil, and we were going to have to explore a lot of new marketing opportunities.
Sure.
Versus if we sell it and tell that buyer that they need to go explore new marketing opportunities, we're going to be better off. And back to the inventory thing, and just don't like dealing with inventory. So for us, it was like, we just wanted to start a software company. We're going to bootstrap it and it's going to support us.
Yeah.
And we're going to grow it. We didn't necessarily, I don't think I'm the kind of person to go, I'm going to start $1 billion, or I'm not putting a price on things or like goal setting in the sense of this is how much money this is going to make. My goal setting really comes down to, is this going to bring enjoyment and like fulfillment to my next 3 to 5 years of life?
Sure.
Like I could go start an accounting firm and run an accounting firm. Am I going to enjoy running an accounting firm at any point? Probably not.
Yeah.
Do I have the skills? Totally. So like, that's how I kind of think about goal setting. But yeah, I mean, from a company, perspective right now, we're just north of about 10 mil of ARR. So it's really, really important to us that we just stayed bootstrapped and done it on our own, and not had to bring in outside players who told us how to make decisions, No,
100%. And you keep saying like I'm curious, like how's your team made up? How big's the team?
Yep.
Like different pieces of that as well too.
Yeah. So me and 2 partners, my partner, I've known Greg, he's our CFO, Greg Burstein. I've known him since 3rd grade. So we go way back. We ran Pack Leashes together. We went through accounting school together. And then Colby, who's our CTO, I've known him since college. So he was also, he was that one who came onto that role at Pack Leashes, into that CTO role. And there's really 3 departments at the company. There is merchant success and customer service really is one, and then sales, and then dev. So Colby leads the dev side. I lead sales, and then Greg leads merchant success, and we both do a little bit of ops stuff.
Sure.
And Greg's also like CFO, so does a lot of the accounting and whatnot. But it's not, it's not a full-time CFO job, I would say. I mean, there's more and more to do, but then beyond that, so there's like 16 of us right now. But beyond that, there are, again, just people in the sales department, customer service, and dev. It's a pretty even split across the company when it comes to those 3 departments.
Sure. And like, I'm curious too, because you've been in the space for a while, like 10 years at this point. What do you see is working really well for brands? Like I think that's always a question that people are curious of. Like, if you were your 22-year-old Will again and you wanted to launch a brand, where would you even be looking? What would you be thinking about? And even from a scaling perspective, what would you be doing?
Yeah, I think what's really working well for brands, getting creative when it comes to ads and whatnot. I mean, I think TikTok's working for a lot of brands. I think a lot of brands it's not working for.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on the brand, but really leaning in on, when I ran a brand, there was really two places to lean on, and it was scaling marketing up and finding places to chop operating costs.
Sure.
And so it's kind of a combination of just juggling those two things constantly. I have a buddy, his name's Eric. We actually do a podcast together. That's like very random, off base, like it's not as deep of, this is like a more business conversation. We kind of screw around on our podcast, but he does. What'd you say?
No, I'm just thinking that's funny. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's fun. But he does something called shared sweeps, and I think that's a pretty sweet idea. They're doing like giveaways essentially, that are across a bunch of brands. So I think that's interesting. I do think that's something that you're more applicable when you're a brand that's doing 3 mil plus, because you have the resources to actually build around that. But man, I'll say this: it's just hard. It's not as easy as it was. And so you really have to be creative when it comes to marketing. I mean, you look at Breeze doing like the THC drinks, and I think they've done a really impressive job. I mean, I've known Nick and Aaron for a while, and so to see the job that they've done, and when they started that business, I was like, is this gonna scale? Like, is there that much market for THC, Lion's Mane drinks? But they've scaled it really well, and they've done a really good job of their subscriptions program. So, like, if I were to start a brand tomorrow, I think it'd have to be subscriptions focused. It's got to have that lifetime value. Another brand you could see is like Gruns or Gruns. Yeah. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, but just doing a really good job from a subscription perspective. But, that's one thing I learned about selling dog leashes was, and this leash lasts people 8 years. Like, by the time it's done, like, it's not even a company anymore. It's really not even a company anymore. Like, like all the logos and stuff are rubbed off. Like, you're taking out your dog on it. So it's not really well, no matter how well branded it is, it's like, it's gonna deteriorate, and it lasts for so long. So like, that was a really big lesson of, and that's another reason we got into software, was it's like this, it's just getting harder in this environment, and we don't have a LTV product. So that would be my focus, John, is just like really focusing on LTV subscriptions, and going from there. Like, that's how I would I always try to back into things from a marketing perspective. So that's how we started the first company, but I'd have to really think about how would I market? Where are things that I can market from a product perspective, and then have to boil down to subscription LTV, and kind of keep checking boxes until I found what was perfect. But man, it's just hard selling products.
Do you think that DMing strategy still works?
I think it works to a degree, but I don't think it works as well as it did in 2018,
Sure. And I don't think it can get you to like 8-figure scale, probably, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think for really large brands, it's a cool thing to add to your stack, but like, it's the only marketing we did at Pack Leashes. And when we sold the business, we told the buyer, we said, you need to find other marketing avenues, because this is not sustainable. Like, this is not going to last. It's what we've been doing.
It could add revenue to your business in a different channel, call it, per se.
Yeah, it totally could. It's just like, you don't want to 100% depend on it, which is what we were doing.
No, I agree with you. Very cool. I'm curious too, like for the current business as well too. What did you see to work really, really well for brands that are using you guys? Like, I'm curious of like some stories where like brand had a bunch of issues and then came to you guys and like, oh shit, this is like a game changer. Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I mean, it happens in the sense of, especially people who have like, we're in the midst of summer right now. So merchants of ours who are shipping chocolate and meat, stuff like that, like, they have gotten better. They've gotten a better read on how much damage is occurring, because they have us as that first front line of defense. And from there, they're able to use the data that we provide and say, okay, cool, all this chocolate's melting. We need to add more ice packs.
There you go.
Because at the end of the day, like, even if we are covering that damage, like, as a brand, you want customers to get your product in a good condition, for sake of your brand experience. And so, companies like Alice Mushrooms have had a lot of just help from us in terms of not only monetarily, but also gaining a better understanding of the data behind why issues may be rising up, especially in the summer. Other companies, a lot of companies that we work with shipping cans, just get a deeper insight into, again, why this damage occurs, and they're able to then audible and make decisions when it comes to packaging and how they're getting things out, so that their customers have a better experience when it does land in their mailbox.
Sure. And then also, like, I guess you're cutting cost for them as well too, right? It's like that's the key to it.
Yeah, entirely. Like, because again, before, large brand may be shipping out $20,000 of free product a month. Now they just ship out zero, and they actually get more revenue.
Yeah.
So cutting costs, creating revenue, and cutting cost per service time as well.
Sure. I'm curious for you though, how do you catch like bad actors though? Because I'm sure like there are a lot of consumers that will order stuff. So yeah, I didn't get this, and then you send them another one. They're like, oh, I already get it again, and by like the fourth one, like how do you deal with that? I'm curious. That probably does happen a lot.
Yeah, we're catching bad actors on a repeat basis. So, like, frankly, John, if there's someone who's a bad actor and it's the first time they're doing it, it's like it's probably going to slip through, just based on the fact that we don't want to deeply investigate everyone and become what UPS and FedEx have become when it comes to claims. So we're doing more of a detection basis on a repeat offense, like standard and status.
Sure. Because I feel like probably over time across brands, you probably find the same people trying to do the same thing across multiple brands.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're switching up, they'll switch up names and email addresses and stuff. A lot of times they are using the same address.
Sure.
So it's just kind of different data points and understanding.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very interesting like niche in the e-com space is package protection. I feel like it's like the last, even after the 3PL touch, right? It's like, hey, 3PL shipped it out or warehouse shipped it out or whatever. It's gone, right? But now you're like, no, we actually have another barrier that like helps defend the brand to the end consumer and also gives the consumer peace of mind that they're with their fault they're going to get eventually,
Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah, exactly. And the peace of mind's huge. I mean, dude, we launched with Skull Candy a couple months ago and they A/B tested us. And with these A/B platforms like Shoplift, Shoplift's great. Like they've been really.
What's Shoplift?
Shoplift is A/B testing platform.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been really great, but you can basically A/B test whatever you want on your website. And so we've been actually using Shoplift to A/B test SavedBy for companies. And so like Skull Candy A/B tested us. They saw a 10.3% lift in their conversion rate when offering SavedBy versus no offering of SavedBy.
Wow.
Really, really massive there. Like that's an outlier. I wouldn't say I would expect that. And on the other end of things like Breeze, they saw a 1% lift.
Okay.
Granted, Sam at Skull Candy said to me, he was like, man, as long as it didn't decrease, it's a win. And so that's so true is because literally if your conversion rate can just stay the same, but then you have all this net gain,
it's a positive.
You really haven't taken an L. What'd you say?
Well, that's it's net positive. Like as long as it's not dropping the conversion rate, you're good.
Yeah, it's net positive. And even if your conversion rate drops 0.1%, it's probably still net positive. But all to say, I mean, that's our goal is making sure that conversion rate is maintained. And then addition and then net positives. Now, if you can get that 10% conversion rate lift, that's a huge positive. Again, not expected, but you never know until you try.
Sure. Because I feel like a lot of brands who have looked into something like this are like, oh, well, this is going to destroy my conversion rate. Like I'm getting a 3.5%, 4%, 5% conversion rate, killer conversion rate. This is going to lower. And you're just like, you're saying, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't. And that's, again, I think that's a big thing I go up against is people are really scared of that. And so that's why I'm really imploring people like run an A/B test it. If it doesn't work, just get rid of it. It takes 10 minutes to set up. We want to make it really easy for setup and offboarding in case it's not for you.
What was the name of that app you guys are using for that?
Shoplift.
It's awesome. It's a cool app.
Yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, yeah, they're really cool. I know their team, like Teddy over there, is really, really great. And yeah, man, it's a really sweet piece of software. Something I wish I had when I was running a brand because you do enough tests and you stack enough 1% and 2% lifts, and next thing you know, I mean, that's if you could somehow convert at 10%, then customer acquisition costs, like who cares if Meta's costs are going up? I'm converting 10% of customers. Like I can pay however much I want.
100%. No, definitely. I think this is definitely a conversation. I think this is definitely a space that is like kind of overlooked, but like is a net positive across the board. Like you said, with all these tests, you're seeing either better conversion rate or the same conversion rate. And if it's the same, there's a net positive because the end customer is happier because he's going to get an actual product and the brand's going to get more revenue, right? So it's a win across the board.
Yeah.
Is there any way that this is like a net negative? Has you seen negatives in this?
I mean, I don't really see. No, it's hard for me to see net negatives. Again, I think I have a bias towards it, but like, if for whatever reason a brand does experience a net negative, that's why for us, like, we're not going to make you sign a contract and like hold you tight and hold you in. It's just like, cool, if it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you. And I think, I will say one reason we lose customers a lot of the time, like a lot of the customers that leave SavedBy is just because they're so small. If you're doing $200,000 a year compared to some of my brands that are doing $80 million a year, $100 million a year, it's like $200,000 a year, you're not going to lose that much. And so a lot of those smaller brands will hop on and they'll go, oh, this actually isn't that an issue for me at all. And it's like, yeah, it's just, you just aren't big enough to have the issue at scale. And so that's like one party that I can say seems to have like a net negative experience because they're just not big enough to need.
I think this solves like a volume problem because like with volume, there's always going to be some type of package issue that just arises, Is there anything else you'd like to share too? Anything cool you see in the space that you're like, this is sick? I think people should know about this type of things too.
No, I mean, one really cool thing, just from a eCom perspective that I'm seeing that my buddy just built this, and he's actually in New York. It's called Outer Signal.
Okay.
They do like VIP customer detection. So if like,
that sounds sick.
Yeah. So like if Bill Murray purchased something from your brand, but it was William Murray, they're using AI on the back end to identify customers and then giving you like dashboards of like, here's all your VIP customers. This person's a big influencer. They're, famous. But it's getting even deeper just in terms of customer understanding. I mean, I think Zach, my buddy there, he's about to build a massive company. It's called Outer Signal. So I would definitely suggest people check out Outer Signal. But yeah, I mean, in terms of just so funny, man, like being in this space now where it's when I ran a brand, I was just on my own island doing my own thing. Got really deep just in the tech space, the ecom tech space. And yeah, I mean, apps to check out would be, obviously SavedBy, but then Outer Signal, Shared Sweeps, really great, and Shoplift. Those are my top three from a just opportunity perspective for brands, especially, 8-figure brands who are looking to move the needle. I think that those three apps are really big up and comers, and they're all very unique in what they're doing. Because I could, there's a lot of like, there's a good review apps, there's good, but like those are three fresh ideas that are doing really cool things. A/B testing isn't as fresh, but the way Shoplift is doing it is fresh. So yeah, Beyonce, my man. I mean, those would be. I think that people should be using.
Customer thing sounds really cool. Like, because like I see a lot of brands, even we're shipping it out. I've seen brands have like A-list celebrities and like movie stars and actors and everything get products, but you don't know until like someone's like, oh look, like Saquon Barkley's getting this pack. You know what I mean? This type of thing. Well, this would catch it, which is sick. Because then you can add something extra. You can put a handwritten note in, blah blah blah. You can do all this type of thing as well too.
Yep, and that's what they built it for, is being able to put in handwritten notes, extra items, stuff like that. So that's a really, really cool one. Yeah, it's called Outer Signal.
You gotta connect with that guy because that does sound sick.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
I know you gotta jump. Where can people find you? What's the best way to get connected? You SavedBy and everything too.
Yeah. I mean, LinkedIn. This is probably gonna go. I figure this will go on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is great. You can just email me. Honestly, it's just will@savedby.io. I'll just give it out right now. I mean, I'm not really scared of people who should be emailing me, catching this, and not emailing me. So, yeah, LinkedIn, email, it all works. Or if you're interested in SavedBy, just go to our website. It's just savedby.io. You can book a demo there. You'll get on a call with someone from my team, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I appreciate you getting me on here, John. It is It's funny. We're here now after meeting on the streets of New York, like you said.
That is so, like, literally when you said that, I was like, fuck, you're right. Literally, you jumped in my car and we dropped you off. I forgot where we dropped you off somewhere. I think you went to another event after. That's crazy how it works, right? You just meet in New York, jump in a car, and then now we're doing a pod 2 years later.
Yeah, no, man, it's funny. Small world.
Dude. For the people watching though, we're almost at episode 100. We're at 94. So if you got this far, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I think we're almost up to 4K subscribers. So we're moving up. We've been doing this, I guess, now almost 2 years. So I know we have some listeners that follow us and everything, but check out SavedBy. They're sick. And I hope we shared a whole bunch of valuable learning from this. Anyways, catch you in the next one. Thank you, Will. Peace.
Cheers, guys.